And so every single service that you provide has to stand on its own 2 feet. And one of the best ways to protect yourself in the future is to make sure you're making as much money as you can. I love the phrase future proofing, and part of me hates it as well, because I always think, like, what does it actually mean? Like, does it mean like it's a good headline grabbing for an event, isn't it? We'll call about future proofing. But I always think I'd like to go back to the people that did a future proof your accountancy event in 2019 and see how many of them mentioned the pandemic and say, hang on a minute, I took your advice and you never told me about this. I was looking at, remember Back to the Future, and they predicted what was happening in 2015 with hoverboards and flying cars and stuff, and it never materialized, right? So I think we have to be very grounded when we start talking about future proofing, because it is important that we're ready for the future. But for me, like, the answer is you don't know what's coming. The only thing we can know is that there will be change. There will certainly be challenges. That's the only thing that is guaranteed on the entrepreneurial journey, on the business path, is that there will be challenges, big ones, small ones. And there will also be opportunities as well. And so to my mind, a future-proof firm is one that is adaptable, and that one that can make decisions very quickly to, address the challenges and mitigate any risk associated to those challenges, but can also take advantage of opportunities as well. And the way that you do that is by having very solid foundations. Very often when people think about growth in their accounting business, they think about going up. But to my mind, and something I'm always pushing on, is growing down into foundations is just as important. So we can grow up and try and move things forward, but then we grow down and deepen and widen the foundations within those our accounting businesses. So again, we can go up, but it's that constant ebbing and flowing, in actual fact, how you should be moving forward. And the final thing I will say, I always bring it back to this: nearly every problem in your business can be related to the fact that you're not making enough money and not consistently profitable across everything. One challenge that I did see in the pandemic, where firms were like, they were making money out of advisory, but they were maybe losing money on payroll and just wiping the face with compliance services. And then all of a sudden, the pandemic hit. People didn't want advisory. They needed more information on compliance and what the tax implications were, and payroll, furlough, just went through the roof. So if you didn't have a consistent pricing methodology, but you had an overall rough profit, all of a sudden you were tested. And so every single service that you provide has to stand on its own 2 feet. And one of the best ways to protect yourself in the future is to make sure you're making as much money as you can.